Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studios, back on AAU WorldTour Radio, and of course, this is Let's Talk AAU WorldTour. Of course, we have the game of the month coming up tonight in February. The Dayton Wolves, the number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves, taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 2016 Southwestern Conference Championship rematch. Right here live in Dayton, Ohio, the jungle. The Dayton Wolves coming off a great game against Triple Threat live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. But Triple Threat from Philadelphia did not win their contest. They're outing against the number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves. Although this went into overtime, the Dayton Wolves put that one out 102-93 before their week break off. Now they find themselves going up against the Honolulu Hammerheads. I mean, there's a lot of history with these two teams, the Honolulu Hammerheads and the Dayton Wolves. Of course, it's not like the Dayton Wolves versus the Lake Erie Monsters. This has to do with all respect, because the last time these two met was in Honolulu, where the Dayton Wolves, where the city of Honolulu, put on a floating lantern ceremony right there in the beautiful waters of Hawaii, and it was all paid tribute to the hashtag the Ballin' for Bree effect. I mean, this game brings up a lot of memories for the Dayton Wolves fans as well as the Dayton star Chance Miller. But before we get into any of that, Eddie, because this is going to be a great show, we've got a lot of questions to ask C. Miller as he sits in the hot seat with us tonight. Well, this afternoon, as well as Brandon Rush, the starting point guard for the Honolulu Hammerheads. But first, we want to catch you guys up to speed of what's going on in the AAU WorldTour League, since we are right here talking about the AAU WorldTour League. But ladies and gentlemen, the Dayton Wolves were supposed to be facing Carolina Thunder in Charlotte, North Carolina, but the boards got together. The CEO of Next Gen Network, as well as the partner of Jemiah Dangerfield, which is the CEO of the AAU WorldTour League, but Wayne Ballard, as well as Jemiah Dangerfield, got together with the rest of the panel, the rest of the organization, and they've decided to cut the league a little bit short, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of 82 games, the next break for the Dayton Wolves, which will be in May, I believe. The Dayton Wolves has 8 straight home games coming up. The Dayton Wolves will play them 8 home games before we have a month off, a month break. But when we return, ladies and gentlemen, the Dayton Wolves will be facing the Lake Erie Monsters. Then, in a week later, after that huge rematch, it will be the AAU All-Star Weekend taking effect in Orlando, Florida, as it's set right now, which is the Southwestern Conference versus the Southeastern Conference. Remember, we were supposed to have this last season, but however, certain circumstances happened in Orlando, Florida, period, where we're not going to get into it, but a little boy lost his life, as well as a nightclub shooting that many lost their lives. We wish they would still rest in peace. We still remember, especially the Club Post nightclub shooting. Our thoughts go out to them, which stopped us from having the AAU WorldTour All-Star Weekend in Orlando, Florida, but we return this year. But the huge thing is that 20 to 30 games will be subtracted from everyone's schedule, so that we can hurry this season along, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of waiting another year for AAU WorldTour Nationals, the season will wrap up this year, as we heard, and WorldTour Nationals will be at the end of this year, if not the very start of the 2019 the 19 year. But the Dayton Wolves, I mean, they have 8 straight home games at the end, and after that, the Dayton Wolves will be going up against the team that we kind of been waiting for. Everyone thought we was gonna have to wait another year, but no, we are just months away from the biggest game, the biggest rematch in AAU WorldTour League, and second to none. Second to that game, of course, is the Dayton Wolves versus the Honolulu Hammerheads, which these two were the best out of the Southwestern Conference last season, and they did battle. I mean, the Honolulu Hammerheads, the one that gave the Dayton Wolves the first contest in WorldTour National. I mean, the Dayton Wolves flew past Sacramento Fury in 2 games. They flew past the Central City Knights in 2 games. Then the Dayton Wolves met the Honolulu Hammerheads. They lost the first one in Honolulu, Hawaii, where the huge Ballin' for Bree effect took effect in Hawaii. I mean, it was remarkable night, a remarkable weekend, a remarkable event for the Dayton Wolves as well as the state of Honolulu, Hawaii. But I know if everybody's been seeing it as we've been kind of sharing and remembering the videos from the floating lantern ceremony. But the Dayton Wolves meet these guys in Dayton, Ohio. This time they are at home. They were supposed to be going back to Honolulu, but of course 20 to 30 games will be cut, and one of those games will be the Dayton Wolves visiting Honolulu, Hawaii yet again. But these two will meet in Dayton, Ohio tonight. I mean, how can the Dayton Wolves, especially C. Miller, since this is the rememberable as a tongue twister, but he will be visiting some of the emotions that he's encountered, especially now that the Dayton Wolves may be facing the Lake Erie Monsters in no time.
Well, you got that right, Kate. Just what we've heard, when they're taking out 20 to 30 games, I mean, that's a huge dent on the schedule, on everyone's schedule. So all these teams that's trying to find their organizations, trying to build their franchise, they just have a little bit more games to go before they really test their players against the best in this league. The Dayton Wolves, we know, will be in the World Tour Nationals. The Lake Erie Monsters, we know, will be in World Tour Nationals. The Honolulu Hammerheads have been struggling so far this season. However, they have a second half of the schedule to continue building as a group before they take on the World Tour Nationals. But I mean, just these two teams coming into this game, finally playing visiting the Dayton Wolves arena again, the jungle. Brings up a lot. I mean, the last time these two met in the jungle was in World Tour Nationals Game 2. The Dayton Wolves took it in Game 2 to tie the series up at 1 apiece, and then the last meet was in Honolulu, Hawaii, where the Dayton Wolves went on and beat the Honolulu Sharks at the time to move on to face the Lake Erie Monsters in the national championship game. But the Honolulu Hammerheads, they think that they can possibly beat the defending back-to-back Southwestern Conference champions. We will find out tonight. But this whole schedule changing just does a lot for every team in the AAU WorldTour League. I mean, I can't wait to see which teams start to step up. I mean, right now it's time for every team to step up. The Dayton Wolves has 8 more games. They're going to finish out their 8 games at home because they was on the road for so long, and they finally want to go home and play 8 games. But once that break starts to happen, they're going to break, except this time the Lake Erie Monsters and the Dayton Wolves will not be facing off on Mother's Day. It will be after Mother's Day this year. But you can bet that it will be a remarkable moment, a remarkable date. We will remember this date for so long, whatever the date may be for this game to take effect in the jungle, because that's where the Dayton Wolves and Lake Erie Monsters will meet this time. Will be in the jungle, Dayton, Ohio. The Dayton Wolves will face the Lake Erie Monsters. I can't wait. It will be a number 2 versus number 3 matchup. Number 2, the Lake Erie Monsters at the number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves. I can't wait. It's just like the number 1 seeded Toronto Terror taking on the Dayton Wolves when Dayton Wolves went out to Canada. But this time, this game, the Lake Erie Monsters and the Dayton Wolves will bring out the best of the best. Everyone will be trying to get to that game, score their tickets. The tickets will be going on sale at midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever. We will tell you the dates, whatever the date will be. We'll tell you the date, and the tickets will be going on sale at midnight on a select date. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have to make sure that you are up, because we know these tickets will sell fast, and it will be a remarkable game. But I can't wait to hear and see the expression on C. Miller's face when we finally tell him. Well, I'm sure he already knows, but I can't wait to see what he has to say about this schedule change and the Dayton Wolves taking on the Lake Erie Monsters sooner than later. But the Dayton Wolves has 8 more games. They're on a 4-game winning streak coming into this game. I mean, I think the Dayton Wolves will pull this game out just because the Dayton Wolves are a powerhouse. Honolulu Hammerheads not really doing too much right now in this league, but it will not start. It will not start tonight. It will not start this week. It will not start this month, especially when you're going up against the number 3 seeded Dayton Wolves, who we just seen pull it out in overtime. overtime when they was just down by 12. Fourth quarter action, 8 minutes on the clock. The Dayton Wolves came back, especially Chance Miller, 36 points in the game, 14 rebounds, 12 assists. So I mean, the Dayton Wolves has been on fire. They have another player who stepped up in the position of Manny Reeves, but when the Dayton Wolves take on Lake Erie, I'm sure that Manny Reeves will be back to 100%, and he will be on the floor. But you have to think about it. Will Manny Reeves be starting as Curry? His first outing starting, he finished with 13 points, and he was remarkable from the field goals. He had 5 assists, so we might see a new starter for the Dayton Wolves, and I think that the Dayton Wolves is going to need to finalize their roster. I mean, right now, coming into this game right now, they can work with it a little bit, but you have PNW coming up, you have Chicago Lockdown coming up, you have Greenwood Elite coming up, who's a phenomenal 3-point shooter. They have shooters all the way around the floor, so they have to start finalizing their roster, because this whole we're going to try you out in this spot, we're going to try you out this week, we're going to try you out this game, that is not going to be working in the next coming months of AAU WorldTour League, especially against the Lake Erie Monsters.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, and Eddie, we have late breaking news yet again. The official ranks, the ranks hashtag is what we call the ranks, the power rankings. A new list has came out. We're going to just say the top 10, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to be shocked when you hear this new power rankings order. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, at 19-4, 5-0, the last month of play, well, the last week of play, 5-0, the last month of play, they have been 14-2, is the Lake Erie Monsters. At number 1, and number 2 at 20-5. Last month, 15-1 is the Greenwood Elite that the Dayton Wolves will be meeting for the first time in Dayton, Ohio. And then you have number 3 at 20-4, 12-2 in the last month is the Toronto Terror from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And then at number 4 with 17-5, 12-3 in the last month of play is the Dayton Wolves. They are locked in at number 4. Of course, number 5, you have Team Concept. At number 5, of course, 15-8, 8-6 in the last month of play. Then you have Double Pump locked in at number 6, who is 14-11, 13-3 in the last month of play, as well as Indiana Elite locked in at number 7, 14-10 in the last month, 10-6. Mainline Jaguars, who came from the Southwestern Conference, of course, they came into the league with the Dayton Wolves. Mainline Jaguars had a huge rivalry with the Dayton Wolves in the 2016 season. But the Mainline Jaguars, who struggled in the first part of the season, has finally found themselves. They are locked in at number 8 right now with a 14-10 record, 9-7 in the last month of play. And then you have the Houston Phenoms at number 9, 14-11. Right now is their record, 8-7 in the last month of basketball. And of course, rounding off the top 10 is the Chicago Lockdown, locked in at number 10, 13-12 is the overall, 6-9 in the last month. So that is the top 10. It's shocking to see Lake Erie Monsters, it's shocking to see the Lake Erie Monsters locked in at number 1. Dayton Wolves, who was just number 3, dropped down one more slot to number 4. You have Greenwood Elite, who is not even in the top 10 in the last poll, I believe, who has jumped dramatically up to number 2. Toronto Terror was number 1. They are now number 3. They took the spot of the Dayton Wolves. The Dayton Wolves now number 4, taking Lake Erie's spot. So the Lake Erie Monsters, the Toronto Terror, and the Dayton Wolves has been trading slots since the beginning of this season of the league. But Greenwood Elite is the team that you're going to probably have to look out for, especially since they just made a dramatic incline to number 2 with a 20-5 record. That is remarkable. So I cannot wait to see the Dayton Wolves take on Greenwood Elite, just to see exactly what they have, Eddie. Just because we know that they have a lot of shooters on their team. I mean, they're just 20-5. That's a remarkable record. You have Lake Erie Monsters 19-4. That's why they're number 1. The Dayton Wolves 17-5. They haven't really matched up to any team, but they're 3 teams away. Well, three wins away from possibly jumping back up to number 3. But it's lucky they're still in the top 5, so the Dayton Wolves is still a top contender team, especially going into AAU World Tour Nationals. Eddie, I mean, just looking at this, I know you have something going through your head right now. I mean, what are you possibly thinking now that you see the top 5 is the Lake Erie Monsters, Greenwood Elite, Toronto Terror, Dayton Wolves team concept?
No, those biggie challenges ain't working. No, but the Dayton Wolves, I mean, they're locked in at number 4. The Lake Erie Monsters is pretty much saying that they will be a sure candidate of winning back-to-back national championships. But I'm surprised as you are a Greenwood Elite jumping up to number 2. I'm surprised to see the Lake Erie Monsters locked in at number 1 as well, as far as the best team in the league. However, I'm not surprised to see Toronto Terror still in the top 5, and I'm not surprised to see the Dayton Wolves drop down to number 4 because they lost, as we've seen, 3 games in the last month of play, which was Double Pump Toronto, and there was just one more prior to the Dayton Wolves losing, which I figured they lost to. I'm not for sure, but anyways, I mean, it's still a strong power ranking right there. The Dayton Wolves and the Lake Erie Monsters, I'm glad to see that the Lake Erie Monsters are number 1, because I can't wait to see the Dayton Wolves take on the Lake Erie Monsters for the second time in this season, to actually see if Miller and the Dayton Wolves can tie this series up before they meet in World Tour Nationals. I'm sure Sparks is going to fly during the hot seat hour that we will be talking to Cameron Caden and of course Chance Miller. We will be talking with them again. I know we're always going to be talking to them because those two right there, they bring out the best in each other. That is why that game alone sells for so much. So ladies and gentlemen, of course, if you want to be attending this game, the Dayton Wolves versus the Lake Erie Monsters, at the time, number 1 seeded Lake Erie Monsters versus the number 4 seeded Dayton Wolves, live in Dayton, Ohio, the jungle. You guys need to be up when the tickets first go on sale. You can't wait. You can't wait till the next night. You can't wait till the next afternoon or the next day or the next morning. These tickets will be gone in an hour. If not 5 hours, 10 hours to be exact. If not 24 hours, these tickets will be gone. I'm sure of it because it's happened on plenty of occasions. This game between these two players, these two teams have sold out. It will not be on Mother's Day this time, I don't believe. I think that they are talking about making this game still a Mother's Day game, which will continue the tradition of this game. However, I mean, I can't wait to see this game, Kate, but I'm glad that the Dayton Wolves are still in the top 5. I'm glad that the Lake Erie Monsters has finally found their way up to number 1, and I'm still shocked to see the Greenwood Elite is locked in at number 2, because the Dayton Wolves will be facing Greenwood Elite in the jungle coming up. I believe in an 8-game home stretch for the Dayton Wolves, so I can't wait to see that game. That will be the game of the month, I believe, of that month, whichever month that is. But these top teams, these top 10 teams, I mean, I'm surprised, and I'm actually surprised to see the Mainland Jaguars up there too. You know, they started off rough. 4 of 10, 14 of 10 is a kind of a steady It's a bad record. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bad record. They've only won a little bit over half of their games, but I mean, you never know what can happen right now. The Dayton Wolves may be going on a down stretch, on a downward spiral, as they get ready to face the Honolulu Hammerheads tonight. You never know what will happen. Brandon Rush, we'll be talking to him later on. I can't wait to see what he thinks about this upcoming game and this upcoming power rankings. They're not on the top 10, but the Honolulu Hammerheads, oh yeah, they're nowhere close. An 8-16 record. The Honolulu Hammerheads are, and they're number 33 in the ranks. So last month they were 3-10, Kate. So yeah, the Dayton Wolves pretty much got this game. I can't believe this is the game of the month, actually, but you never know. But other than that, I mean, I'm satisfied with the ranks, period. I'm satisfied with the ranks. I think that the Lady Monsters deserve the number 1 spot. I think that the Dayton Wolves has fought to stay in the top 5. So I'm glad with this rank.
And right now we're going to switch to see if anything has changed on the All-Star voting polls. Of course, All-Star Weekend was a sure while away, but however, the 20 to 30 games subtracting from everyone's schedule will bring AAU World Tour, we'll bring AAU All-Star Weekend just a little bit closer. I'm not going to say a little bit, a hell of a lot closer, because it is right around the corner. Remember, we had Dayton All-Star Chance Miller locked in at number 7. We had Cameron Caden locked in at number 2. Which we still have Cameron Caden locked in at number 2. He will be in the shooting guard position, as Miller has jumped up from number 7 to number 6. Miller is number 6. He is the 6th man. I mean, if he continues to play like he's playing, Eddie, he will probably be the starting point guard in the AAU All-Star Weekend. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, votes count. I mean, this is not about the coaches. This is not about, well, I mean, it is about the coaches, but this is not about what will do best for the team. Of course, both teams are trying to win this, the Southeastern Conference and the Southwestern Conference. They're trying to win it. However, this is all in part to the fans. This is all comes down to the fans. You know, you vote for them, ladies and gentlemen, then they will be playing. Cameron Kane is locked in now with 87,000 votes, ladies and gentlemen. 87. Miller 85. Yeah, 85. So just 2,000 more votes, ladies and gentlemen, and Miller will be what Miller will be in the top in the top 5, but I mean, that's just Cameron Caden, the point guard that is starting in the AAU All-Star Weekend. Of course, comes from Toronto, which is Toronto Terror. He has 92,000, so Miller has just 7,000 more to go. So if you want to see Miller and Cameron Caden starting together, which is going to be a hell of a show, just within these two. Just go ahead and vote for C. Miller. If you want to see these two starting, that is going to be a sight to see. I really can't wait to see that actually happen. If it happens, I mean, I would love to see it happen, but I don't think that would be best for the Southwestern Conference. But if you guys want to see it, because this is all up to you, then go ahead and vote. That's probably why Miller doesn't have that many votes. See, they probably want him to start on the second string. Because in my personal opinion, the second string, Miller has played the second string before. And he's came out and done a lot of damage that we thought that the second string could possibly do. I mean, you want to save your best player coming off the bench, in my personal opinion. Miller starts with the Dayton Wolves because the Dayton Wolves circle around C. Miller. C. Miller is the star, but Miller doesn't have to really showcase his talent, his skills that much in the All-Star Weekend, in the All-Star game. So you really want Miller to come out on the second string where he can run the floor by himself, put up the points that he can possibly put up by himself. And he's not going to be able to do that in the starting lineups because you have Cameron Caden up there who likes to shoot. He's coming into this game he's coming into the All-Star game. He's shooting averaging 17.7 points per game. Miller's averaging 24.7, almost 25 points a game, as well as almost 10 assists per game. So you really want Miller to come in the second string and do his justice with the star from Chicago Lockdown, and he'll be on the floor with Ja'Cory Weathers as well as Dizzy Jennings, and that will be a team right there, because we seen these three players within themselves do battle on the floor when these two teams met, the PNW Basketball Club versus the Dayton Wolves, as well as the Memphis and the Dayton Wolves. These two started the rivalry in 2017, Eddie, so it would be fantastic to see Chance Miller on the court with Ja'Cory Weathers as well as Dizzy Jennings from the Memphis Kings. So I can't wait to see what you guys will possibly think, what you guys will possibly put together. But please do not put C. Miller on the same squadron as Cameron Caden, because the Southwestern Conference has already lost.
Already? Oh my God, that would be something to see. But we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to be sitting in the hot seat with no one other than Brandon Rush from, I was going to call him Brandon Jennings. I'm over thinking about Memphis. But we're going to be in the hot seat with Brandon Rush from the Honolulu Hammerheads that will be going one-on-one with Chance Miller tonight, and then we will talk to Chance Miller later on. But we want to hear what the Honolulu Hammerheads head captain has to say. The Honolulu Hammerheads, poor record right now, but they may can turn that around with a win tonight. What will Brandon Rush say, ladies and gentlemen? You're just gonna have to stick with us after this break and find out. We will return live on AAU WorldTour Radio. We are on another episode of Let's Talk AAU.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to AAU WorldTour Radio. We are on another episode of Let's Talk AAU. And now we're sitting right across, myself, and Eddie Turner sitting across from Honolulu Hammerhead starting point guard, Brandon Rush.
How you doing? How's everybody doing out there? Thank y'all for having me first and foremost. I really appreciate it, and can't wait to see what we are going to be talking about today.
Well, first, Brandon, I want to talk about your team and the way you guys have struggled so far this season. I believe we said it was 8-16 so far this season. Yeah, you guys are number 33 in the ranks. I know it's been very difficult for you guys to find yourselves, but of course, everything you just have to take things at one game at a time. And tonight, you guys have an opportunity to upset one of the top teams, one of the top 5 teams in the ranks, the Dayton Wolves. I mean, you guys had your meets before, especially in the 2016 season and especially in World Tour Nationals, but judging from last season that you guys played going up against the Dayton Wolves, do you find do you guys see any difference? I mean, I see a difference. I mean, I respect the Honolulu Hammerheads. I mean, you guys are going through a transition, but do you personally, not just as the starting point guard for the Honolulu Hammerheads, but personally, as a fan of basketball, do you see you and your guys being able to match up with the Dayton Wolves? As the Dayton Wolves met triple threat, it really wasn't a matchup, a triple threat. Stay with the Dayton Wolves. I mean, can you guys see can you see your guys pulling out a triple threat performance as far as taming the Dayton Wolves? Well, not taming the Dayton Wolves because we see Miller jump out. But do you see your team actually being able to stick with the Dayton Wolves throughout 32 minutes of official play tonight?
Okay, I'm not going to say that it's impossible because we all know that anything is possible, especially in this league. A team can come in, a team can have a record like ours. We're 2 spots away from. We're 1 spot away from being the worst team in the league, but we're coming off of everything. Everything's new to us right now. We have some new players coming onto our team, and we're just still trying to find ourselves within ourselves, if that makes sense. But it's not going to be. It's going to be a task at hand. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be a task at hand, but I'm sure that we can actually come together. We're just going to take it a minute at a time, possession at a time, and hopefully, Miller doesn't come out and bomb 10 points in the first quarter, and shoots ungodly from beyond the 3-point line and continues to make plays and everything like that. Hopefully, he has an off game for us, which will at least keep us close to a striking distance. But each practice that we actually do, we find our kinks that we need to work on, and we just like not too long ago we studied the film in the last game when the Dayton Wolves played a triple threat. And we actually seen some mistakes that Triple Threat made, as well as some of the plays that the Dayton Wolves was running, because I was actually watching that game live when it happened. And it's going to be a task, but we're always up for a task. This is not a game that we have to actually prove ourselves that we're this and we're that. We still have a second half of the schedule that we can prepare for and continue building our foundation on and everything like that. So, it'll be a task for us tonight, but I think we'll be able to, stick with the Dayton Wolves and possibly come out at least with not a blowout. That's pretty much what I'm hoping for right now. It's just not to be blown out, not to fall victim to a blowout against the Dayton Wolves. I know they're coming into this game, especially Chance Miller coming into this game, thinking that this will be an easy victory for for them, but we're going to give them all we got. We're going to leave it all on the floor. You know, we have a big body, a big fan base coming to support us that flew out from Honolulu. So, you know, if our bad times, we still have a great fan base, which, you know, that's what Hawaii strives on. You know, we're just one big happy family in Hawaii, and they support us no matter what, regardless if we have bad times, ups and downs. You know, we're stuck in a bad situation, we're stuck in a bad spot right now, but our fans is the one that keeps us going, and tonight in the jungle, they will continue to you know, support us, and win or lose, they're going to still be supporting us, and you know, that's what all that matters to the Honolulu community, you know. But you know, we're going to come out there, we're going to fight. You know, Miller, he knows that going up against me, you know, it's not going to be an easy task. You know, my first game, exhibition game, I actually set a challenge for C. Miller, and, you know, and he still hasn't surpassed that challenge. I scored 46 points in an exhibition, and I asked Miller, I told Miller if he can beat it, then go ahead and beat it, but he still hasn't beat it. 46 points, he's came close, 37 points, 36 points, but he still hasn't hit that 40 mark, and he still hasn't surpassed his record from last season, which was 44 points, but I did by 2. So I can't wait to see what Miller does. I can't wait to see if he can actually beat it, but in my personal opinion, Miller still has not compared to me, just because my record is still the best in the AAU WorldTour League. Well, Brandon, you of course, we said you guys are locked in at number 33 in the ranks. But however, the schedule will be reevaluated. 20 to 30 games will be tacked off from everyone's schedule, meaning that World Tour Nationals is just around the corner, and you guys are still number 33. I mean, after the first half is officially concluded, you know, we're supposed to be taking a month off for everyone to get a new schedule and everything like that, but I mean, you guys only have one more half of a schedule to actually bump up from number 33 at least to the top 8 in the Southwestern Conference. I mean, do you as a team captain, as the leader of the Honolulu Hammerheads, do you see or yourself as well as your team putting in the work to actually make it and draw your ticket to World Tour Nationals?
Well, of course. I mean, if you're a team captain and you're a leader of the team and you say no, then I mean, you're pretty much on the wrong team. You're pretty much on the wrong sport. In the wrong sport. I mean, AAU World Tour Nationals is our national tournament. That is our March Madness. That is to see which team is really the best team in the AAU World Tour League this year, this season. It's not about the standing. It's not about who's number 1 right now, the Lake Erie Monsters. It's not about who's number 4 right now. And it's not about who's number 33 right now. It's about which team can come out each and every week and play to the best of their abilities. Which captain can come out and lead the team to a victory and showcase his skills, his talent, his leadership. That is what World Tour Nationals is about. This right here, us locked in at number 33 and Dayton was all the way up number 4, you know, that really doesn't mean anything. They're just a better team right now. That's all that matters. And I mean, we can come in and we can defeat the Dayton Wolves tonight, just like PNW did, just like Memphis did when Miller dropped 37 points, but Memphis Kings still won the game. Dizzy Jennings still defeated Miller. He was still the better team. He was still the better leader, still the better point guard of the night. Ja'Cory Weathers was still the better point guard, even though the Dayton star, Chance Miller did his thing. I mean, of course, I believe that we're going to be in World Tour Nationals. And you can bet that. We're going to be in World Tour Nationals. And for every team that's actually overlooked us, downlooked us, or anything like that, we're going to be the ones to knock them out of the tournament. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Rush, the starting point guard for the Honolulu Hammerheads. First of all, thank you for joining us on AAU WorldTour Radio. Brandon, you did an amazing job. We can't wait to see what happens tonight as the Dayton Wolves, the number 4 seeded Dayton Wolves, take on the Honolulu Hammerheads right here live in Dayton, Ohio, the jungle. Who will come out on top, ladies and gentlemen? You're going to have to find out tonight. as these two meet up. It will be a 9 o'clock start time. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can join us on AAU WorldTour Radio starting at 8:30, 8 o'clock. I mean, the time may change, but it's 8:30 right now. But it may be 8:15 just in case, we have a lot to talk about during the AAU World Tour pregame tip-off show. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, of course, we're going to be sitting in the hot seat with the Dayton star, the man who scored his first triple-double the last meet in Pennsylvania, with Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 36 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists. Yes, we're talking about the one and only Dayton star, Severus Rain. Will the rain be brought tonight is the question, and I can't wait to sit in the hot seat with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in this one-on-one, well, two-on-one conversation right here live on the hot seat, then, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us right here live on AAU World Tour Radio. You are listening to another episode of Let's Talk AAU.
Tonight. We've redefined the moment, the game at which the Dayton Wolves and the Honolulu Sharks redefined the AAU World Tour Nationals inside the AAU World Tour League. Dayton, Ohio will never be the same again. The number 4 seeded Dayton Wolves taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads right here live in the jungle tonight, 9 Eastern, 5 Hawaiian, only on AAU World Tour Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to AAU World Tour Radio, as well as Let's Talk AAU. We just got finished talking to the Hawaii star, the Honolulu star, Brandon Rush. We talked about many things, of course. The number 4 seeded now, Dayton Wolves, taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads tonight, live in the jungle for a Southwestern Conference showdown, a Southwestern Conference rematch of the 2016 season. But right now we are sitting across from no one other than Chance Miller himself, the Dayton star who scored, who finished with his first triple-double against Triple Threat in Pennsylvania. I mean, first of all, congratulations, Chance Miller, on that game. You guys came out and was clicking on all cylinders. But, of course, you 4 of 4 to start off the first quarter. Ended with 10 points in the first quarter and then Therefore, throughout the first 2 quarters of play at the break, you were shooting at a 6 of 7 from the field, still a perfect 3 of 3, or was it 4 of 4? A perfect 3 of 3 from the 3-point line, as well as 15 points. I mean, a game like that, we really haven't seen you have a game like that, but I know it must have felt good for you to actually showcase your talent on the big stage. West Fargo Center is a sold out arena. I mean, I know it had to feel good to finally have one of those games that we know you're capable of having.
Absolutely. Anytime any player could come out and the first quarter of play and drop 10 points in the first quarter of play, especially on 8-minute quarters, is incredible to me. You know, I had so many open shots that I took and that I was able to knock down. You know, you never know who's going to have the high hand coming in. You know, and all my 25-point games, 26-point games, and all kind of games like that, I finally had a breakout game that was 36 points, 14 rebounds, and 12 assists. It was finally time for me to have one of those games. As much work as I put down in the paint, and I mean, it was just all the way around. I can't, I can't take all the credit for it, you know, because my team did find me when I was needed to be found, and I knocked down and I capitalized on the possessions that they actually trust me with when they gave up their wide open shots and to give it to me. So, you know, my team, we did an excellent job of clicking as a group, coming together as a whole. I mean, Curry, he never started in the game. Since this season started, he's only played in a few games, and that was like 30 seconds left in the game before a player to come off the bench, you know, with the weight on his shoulders, especially when we was down 3. And he shot the 2 free throws that put us down by 1. I mean, you know, if that hadn't have been for Curry stepping up when he needed to step up, then, you know, none of that would have been possible. It goes with everybody else. Everybody played their role. When we came out on top, and I just so happened to have a breakout game. But I can't take all the credit. You know, I can't take all the credit.
It was an amazing game. It was amazing atmosphere. You guys went into overtime. You guys won it 102-93. Therefore, you guys are now on a 4-game winning streak. Now, this game that you guys are playing tonight against Honolulu in the jungle, I'm sure that it brings a lot of memories back. It will be a sold-out arena. This is the rematch of the Southwestern Conference Championship. But I know it brings back a lot of memories when you guys played in AAU WorldTour Nationals. You guys visited Honolulu, Hawaii, where the floating lantern ceremony was put on for the Ballin' for Bree effect. It was a fantastic night. I'm sure everybody remembered it. I'm sure you remember it. It's been, the videos has resurfaced on Facebook. They've been shared on Facebook, so there's a lot of memories coming into this game. So, do you think that the emotions will take over this game, or will you be focused, like dead on focused on this game coming up tonight in the jungle?
No doubt I have to be focused. We're going to treat this like any other game, you know, but there's no bad blood between the Dayton Wolves and the Honolulu Hammerheads. There's competition there because we defeated them. We're back-to-back conference champions. But this rivalry, these games between the Dayton Wolves and the Honolulu Hammerheads will never get to what the Dayton Wolves and the Lake Erie Monsters. It'll never get to that point. I have a great deal of respect for the Honolulu community, especially the Honolulu Hammerheads, just because of what they did for the Ballin' for Bree effect. The Ballin' for Bree effect they knew was something special. It's still something special. This effect took over the world. Every city that we stepped in, it took over that city until to the day we landed, to the night we landed, to the day we left. It took over that city. Honolulu was the city that went up and beyond. Fireworks, floating lantern ceremony. I mean, it was just a beautiful, beautiful sight, and it was the way for regardless if we won or lost the national championship. You know, we always will remember what Honolulu did. I will always remember what Honolulu did. But I'm going to go into this game just as well as my team. We're going to go in this game, and we're not going to lose. We're not going to take it easy on them. This is still basketball. We still have a championship to earn, and it just so happens we have to go past. We just have to go through a team that we respect. You know, Brandon Rush, he's a phenomenal point guard, but I'm just a little bit more phenomenal. I'm a hell of a lot phenomenal, you know. I'm more phenomenal. I know how to do this, and this challenge that he put on at the beginning of the season in an exhibition, 46 points. That's great, but I don't go into every game thinking I need to beat this challenge. I need to get more than 46 points. That's not how I do. We take it one game at a time. We take it one play at a time. We take it one possession at a time. But we're going to go into this game. We're going to defend our home court. We are the Dayton Wolves. We are the number 4 seed in the ranks. I am the leading scorer and the leading assister in the AAU WorldTour League, and nothing's going to change. But there is a great deal of respect that I have for the Honolulu Honolulu Hammerheads. I was thinking of the Sharks. I was thinking of the Sharks, but I was thinking of the Honolulu, so I just put Harks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for C. Rain, who is preparing to do his battle tonight against the Honolulu Hammerheads. Of course, again, well, I don't think I've mentioned it so far this entire hot seat, but happy birthday to you, Rain. It will be hopefully it will be a great performance on your first night out. That is another question I gotta ask you. I mean, this is your first time playing on your birthday. So, how do you, everything's on you right now. Everybody's going to be focusing on you, of course, this game because it is your birthday. But, of course, you just came off of your triple-double against Triple Threat. But tonight is today, the entire day is all you. It's all Rain. It's your birthday. Do you think you're going to come out and spark a fuse? Or do you think that, everything that you're going through right now concerning you and your significant other, but do you think that, you can bypass that? Because we've seen you kind of fail at a lot, especially going through some relationship troubles. But are you going to be able to overpass that, get this game into the books as another victory, y'all's sixth win of the season right now, going into your 8-game home stretch, or is your mind just all bubbly right now?
No, I'm focused. That's what everybody knows that I'm always focused. Although I do have my times of struggle. When I was younger, I did have my times when I was going through some relationship issues, but I just got to learn that sometimes it's not the best time to actually be in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I came here for one goal and one goal only, and that's to win a championship, win my ring. Not only for my team, not only for, my city or the community. I'm here to win that ring for Bree. Southwestern Conference champions back-to-back, we are, but we really haven't won the big one, and the big one is what I'm after. But tonight, I'm going to go in there listening to my music, listening to Radio Heaven's underground music coming into this game, and I'm going to just be in my own zone focusing. I know I got to get focused these next 8 games, because we got a lot of top contender teams coming into our arena, coming into our city, and trying to knock us off the top 5. But now that we found that extra piece that we actually needed, now that somebody's actually stepped up, I think our starting lineups as well as our bench, we can do phenomenal work. We've done it so far, and tonight's no different. But I'm I can't even tell you how prepared I am for this game. I wish we was hooping right now, and I wish the game was starting right now, because I would tear Brandon to death. But I'll wait. I'm ready, though. I'm ready.
All right, Rizzo, real quick before you leave, one more question. I know you have a lot to prepare for coming into tonight's game, trying to win your 6th game in a row. But, of course, later on this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, it will be our 2nd annual floating lantern ceremony put on by the Hawaii community, I believe. I'm going to try to pronounce this, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Ala Moana Hawaii, where this will be taking place, our second annual, 19th annual, for the Ala Moana community, Hawaii community, but it would be our second annual. Of course, this all started with the Ball of Brie effect that happened at the beginning of the season of 2016, well, not the beginning of the season, but around April, the end of April, start of May, that is when the Ball of Brie effect took effect. But of course, 2016, the Dayton Wolves battled Honolulu Sharks. At the time, they were called the Honolulu Sharks. Went to the Honolulu, Hawaii, where we first seen our first floating lantern ceremony. But except this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to up it up a notch, and we're going to record the entire event. It is going to be spectacular. Reza, you know that your Ball of Brie effect has taken over a lot of states, a lot of cities. But of course, you already said no one has put on a greater show than the Hawaii community. And of course, tonight you get to actually see the entire ceremony. I mean, how stoked are you to actually see the entire ceremony for the floating lantern ceremony?
Oh, I'm amped. I can't wait to see how the events leading up. You know, last time we was in Honolulu, Hawaii, we really didn't get to sightsee, as we usually really don't get to do when we go city to city or state to state or wherever we're going. You know, we usually arrive at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, in the morning, or whatever time we land, and then you know, we're going to the hotel room to get us a little nap. We wake up early for team breakfast, and then, you know, if I got to come here, then I'll do my interview with you guys in the hot seat, and then I got to go to practice. Then after practice, I'm trying to catch up on some sleep because I know I got a big game, you know, taking place later on that night. But I can't wait to actually sit down and actually, you know, get to see how their culture is, their rituals, their routines. You know, it's just amazing. You know, you go from seeing everything you see every day to a city, to a state that actually cares about one another. Like their spirit, their love for one another is just something that you just wouldn't imagine you would see in this world today. I mean, it's just ridiculous how this world is today. But when you go to Hawaii, I mean, as soon as you step off the plane, you know, you already feel like family to this community. Like, but I can't wait. I mean, you know, it's going to be a spectacular ceremony, I believe. So, you know, I can't wait to see what unfolds in the events leading up to the big release.
All right, Rizzo Rain, thank you for your time, and also good luck on your game tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, you are a little bit too late. Well, a lot of bit too late. Because we just got finished wrapping up our session, the hot seat, with no one other than the birthday boy himself. From the Dayton Wolves, number 8, Chance Miller. And of course, the number 4 seeded Dayton Wolves taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads tonight. It is a Southwestern Conference rematch of the 2017 AAU World Tour Nationals. And that beef between these two, well, I mean, it's really not a beef. It's not as bad as the Lakey Ramosas and the Dayton Wolves. However, these two have a little bit of business to settle as the Dayton Wolves went on to face the Lakey Ramosas in the national championship. The Dayton Wolves are back-to-back Southwestern Conference champions. Ladies and gentlemen, you can listen into this game right here live on AAU World Tour Radio, starting at 9 Eastern, 5 Hawaiian. That is for the Hawaii community. If you guys want to tune in, I know a lot of people is going to be tuning into this game, of course, in the Hawaii community that stayed for the floating lantern ceremony, which you guys can also watch tonight, starting at 7 o'clock on AAU World Tour Facebook page, as well as Next Gen Network, primarily Next Gen Network. 7 o'clock, everybody. So get on there, get on Facebook, go to Next Gen Network so you can be part of this spectacular ceremony that is happening tonight at 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock is supposed to start the tip-off show for the Dayton Wolves and the Honolulu Hammerheads. That's supposed to go on from 8 to 9. And of course, 9 o'clock, the tip-off for the Southwestern Conference rematch. The number 4 seeded Dayton Wolves taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads right here live on AAU World Tour Radio. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, you have a safe afternoon, and we will talk to you soon.
we revisit, we redefined the moment, the game at which the Dayton Wolves and the Honolulu Sharks redefined the AAU World Tour Nationals inside the AAU World Tour League. Dayton, Ohio will never be the same again. The number 4 seeded Dayton Wolves taking on the Honolulu Hammerheads right here live in the jungle tonight, 9 Eastern, 5 Hawaiian, only on AAU World Tour Radio.